Hey guys, Editor Rix here, and today I'm coming back at you with another episode or update, should I say, of the Gettysburg MOC or the Civil War Battle of Gettysburg MOC. So you guys might have noticed that just in general, MOC videos have slowed down considerably. If you guys have been following the channel for a while, you know that there's two current MOC series essentially going on at the same time. We have this one, which of course is the Civil War one, and then we also have the Vietnam War one, which is actually just over to the right here. As you guys can see, I'm working on these right next to each other. But the update for this is essentially that these episodes are slowing down simply due to the fact that I'm very busy just in real life and with a lot of other stuff on my plate right now that's going to probably increase in terms of the amount of time I have to devote to that. So because of that, there's not a lot of time for me to do building. There's not a lot of time for me to think of what I want to build or plan out building. So because of that, there just simply isn't a lot of building done. Now that seemed very repetitive, but just overall, not a lot of building is able to be done. So you might be asking, when should we expect to see these videos? You know, how often am I going to film them or create them? I think that it's fair to say that about every 10 to 14 days, I'll probably upload either a Vietnam War MOC update or a Civil War MOC update. Now, that's not to say that it could be faster or it might be longer sometimes. I just think that the 10 to 14 day timeline is fair to both me and you, because I feel like 2 weeks I can probably put out some content every 2 weeks. I think that that's a pretty decent timeline for me to follow right now, even with some increased stuff that I have to do. So I think that that's all okay. And hopefully that 10 to 14 week gap between MOC videos isn't too disappointing to you guys. I know that these MOC videos are some of my most popular ones and you guys really enjoy this content, but you know, life happens, and I think that we just have to kind of go with it as it is. You know, it is what it is, and I'll continue to make this content. It's just going to be at a slower pace than previously. You know, I don't know if I mentioned this, but sometimes I used to even make 2 MOC update videos when I was doing the Vietnam War MOC very heavily earlier this summer, and that's just simply untenable for me anymore. So it is what it is. We shall see if I need to alter that in the future or if I'm able to create and film more content on these MOCs, but I feel like every 10 to 14 days is about appropriate. But getting into the actual MOC itself, what you guys can see here, if I can move my camera stand over effectively, is that we have a Civil War. I mean, of course it's Civil War, but we have a Union firing line. As you can see, I have a bunch of guys lined up with some guys who are hit, obviously, and then some guys who are also reloading as well. So if I take my camera off of the stand, what you guys can see here is that I have mixed the Minifig Co. or TMC figures and Brickmania figures. So I have these 1st Minnesota guys mixed in. So we're just going to say that this little detachment here is from the 1st Minnesota. And one other thing that I was testing out is you guys might notice this figure in the center of these 3 here and might wonder, hey, you know, what is this guy? For reference, this figure. So this is actually the Juneteenth Brickmania figure, and I simply switched out his head and his hands with a light flesh TMC head because in the Civil War, other than regiments where there were white officers, they didn't have mixed regiments. So I felt like this was more accurate to have this regiment, you know, all be of this light flesh. Now, I think that eventually I'll probably have this firing line extend to probably about 50 figures long and probably about 2 figures deep, give or take. Every now and then there might be 3, and then along with that there should be casualties. So probably all in all, what I'm going to have for essentially this company-sized firing line is probably about 120 figures. I think that that's appropriate of me to estimate there, and I hope that that's fun for you guys. One little thing that I'm testing out here is I've been trying to play around with brick arms and different Lego elements to figure out how I can make it seem like they're reloading the musket and pushing the ball back into the, you know, the rifle. And I kind of think that I figured out a solution here. As you can see, I used a black magic wand. I believe it's from Harry Potter that I found on a bricklink store for super cheap. And essentially that's trying to represent that ramming rod that they would use to get the gunpowder and all the various stuff stuffed deep into the barrel to appropriately fire it. Something else that you guys might notice is that these figures actually are equipped with 2 different muskets. So on the left here, you see a rifled Springfield musket or a cap lock musket. And then on the right, what you can see is a older flintlock musket. Now, of course, Brickmania hasn't released their perfect caliber cap-lock muskets standalone, so I'm not able to get this level of detail for everybody, so that's why you see some flintlock muskets. I think the final thing is, as I said last week, or in the last update video, should I say, since it might not be last week, this flag I was testing out, a purist Lego Irish Brigade flag. That'll obviously change since the 1st Minnesota obviously is not the Irish Brigade. So hopefully someone makes a felt flag, just a, kind of a more generic Union flag from the Civil War that I'll be able to use, because then I'll definitely get that and get that working. New products that I've used here, of course, other than the Brickmania stuff, I did use this TMC head with the exposed brain. I thought that it was a little bit interesting for casualty, so I went ahead and put it on that fellow. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to add. I guess the final thing I can say is I really enjoy using the ice cream pieces as, the smoke from the barrel. I think it looks really good. Let me know what you guys think of this. Let me know what you guys think of the firing line. I think that it actually looks pretty good together and will look great once I add a second row. But other than that, as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, do all the normal stuff, and I'll catch you next time.